Hey folks, welcome to Smith Lake, Alabama Television. I'm sitting here with my buddy Jake Barchard. Today we're going to talk about catfishing. First of all, Jake, have you heard my latest joke?
I have not. Let's hear it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where do polar bears keep their cash?
Where?
In a snowbank. Okay,
Classic dad
I'm
joke.
sitting here with Jake Barchard. He is my buddy from Chicago. I am on the road, about to go on a trip to Europe. Jake and I have fished together. We just went on a trip up to northern Wisconsin for a week. We caught walleye, we caught perch, we caught brim, we caught crappie, and Jake is going to tell us what he caught up there that is amazing. Tell us about your muskie, Jake.
Well, it was incredible. I was doing my tactics that I do for catfishing, which is the greatest part about it. And basically I was just putting out live suckers, which is a minnow about yay long, pretty big one, just on the bottom. And all of a sudden I had my little second cousin. I look out the window and that rod's folded down. He's holding on to it for dear life. And I run out there, I get it, I just reel down on it because I'm using circle hooks. It's not a hook where you need to actually set the hook into the fish's mouth. And yeah, it didn't fight that hard, surprisingly, compared to the kind of catfish I'm usually after. And but wow, was it incredible. He came up and it was a 47-inch muskie.
And then what did I tell you? I said, Jake, that is the fish of a lifetime. And then what did you do 2 days later?
Everyone was saying it. And 2 days later, I decided to go down to the river that flows out of a dam from the flowage we were staying on. And I just decided to throw out a live bluegill on there. And I was going for sturgeon and catfish and other things. But throughout the live bluegill, within 15 minutes, I had my rod just folded over. I start reeling in, I get this fish in close. Another over 40-inch muskie. I lose him 15 feet away. So I say, okay, the big live baits are working. I take on another big creek chub, they're called, like big minnow. Throw that out on the ground and bottom of the river, and sure enough, here it goes again. Another 15 minutes later, this fish was even bigger than the first one. These are my first 2 muskies ever, and the second one was 47.5 inches. Flying out of the water like a smallmouth bass, for those who are familiar. Was an insane fight. That river fish was so powerful, had tons of muscle, and I got both fish released and back into the water to swim another day, be caught by another angler.
So what do you call a muskie? It's the fish of
fish of 10,000 casts. That's the name they're known for.
How much do you think each of these fish weigh? Any idea?
I'd say the first one, I'd say they were pretty close. I'd say they were probably around 27 to 30 pounds, maybe a little over. I'd say the second one was heavier, maybe pushing 32 pounds.
Yeah. So,
Incredible
Jake,
fish.
what we're here to talk about is catfishing on Smith Lake. Jake is a fishing guide up here north of Chicago on what they call the chain of lakes up here. Pistachio Lake near Fox, on the Fox River. Jake's a guide for catfishing on these lakes. So in the spring, Jake and his buddies decided to come down to Smith Lake. Never been to Smith Lake before in your life. My idea that they were going to be successful was not very strong. But I got to tell you, you guys came down in April? Late
April, I believe. Yeah, late April.
Yeah, they came down and they fished the lake and immediately had super success. Now, Jake, I want you to tell me, why were you so successful at Smith Lake, never fished there before? Tell me what you did.
I mean, there are a lot of factors, but basically, first let me give a shout out to this. I work for a guide service. It is one of my really good friends, Steve McClone at Moon Pie Outdoors. He is the owner and captain of the guide service, and I work under him. We do everything from walleye fishing, pan fishing, to big cats at night. You know, you can book whatever trip you want through us if you're ever in the northern Illinois region. But that trip blew my mind. It was incredible. We didn't know what to expect. You know, me and all my buddies were all cat fishermen, so we kind of just went with tactics. We figured the water would be cool still in April. So, and that, if everyone who's familiar with Smith Lake, can get up to 300 feet deep at some points. So
absolutely, yeah.
You know,
it's a deep lake.
It's hard to figure out, and I know that we're not going to be catching catfish on the bottom in 100 feet of water.
Right.
So I said, okay, I think we probably need to go explore the little fingerlings and find some shallow water. And sure enough, we go try a finger, and we anchored up right on a point to where it went from 40 feet up to 9 feet, so steep incline. And back in the waves a little bit, there was a waterfall coming in. Any water dumping into another bigger body of water usually tends to be good for bait fish. You'll see a lot of brim, panfish, bluegills, stuff like that, and shiners and shad. So we were using. I'll show the rig to the camera here. So this here is a demon dragon, they call it. It's a rattling float. This is an 8/0 Gamakatsu circle hook. We were using live goldfish, which is legal in Alabama, not here in Illinois. But that just is a 60-pound monofilament leader. And that goes to 80-pound braid on I don't have a rod with me right now, I'd show you, but that's the rig you're going. Either a live bluegill on there or a cut-up piece of fish. Take the bluegill's head, midsection, whatever you want. It all works for catfish. And flatheads was what we were after, because I don't believe there's any blue catfish in Smith
I don't
Lake.
think so.
I think we would have caught one.
It's mostly flathead and
channel
cat. Yeah.
Just same thing as up here in Illinois.
So tell me about your rod and reel. It's got to be it's like deep sea fishing kind of gear.
Yeah,
pretty heavy stuff.
It's similar. I'm using a big size round reel bait casting reel with 7'6" medium action Mad Cats rod. And if you're looking to purchase a catfish rod, I really suggest going with Mad Cats. They're a really great company. The rods are affordable, and they just put in work. They really do.
So your buds brought the catfish back. So what size were you catching on your trip down to Smith Lake?
So I suppose I should keep going on what happened in that first fingerling, because it was incredible.
Absolutely, keep going.
We sent out the rods, some with live bait, some with cut bait, and both baits are working incredibly. Within the first 5 minutes, we had a rod fold down hard, a heavy action rod, and snap off on some rocks. So that sucked right off the bat. But
wow.
But then it just started happening on all sides. Some in 30 feet of water, some in 9 feet of water.
Wow.
First flathead we landed was 21 pounds.
Oh, wow.
My buddy Jimmy, he landed that fish.
Big fish.
Yeah, it was not what we expected as the first fish out there in Smith Lake.
Right.
It was pretty incredible.
How long did it take you to boat him?
Not long, because of the heavy gear you're using, but the head shakes and the power of these fish is just something special. That's why I love them, and they're my favorite thing to target. But yeah, so we ended up out of that one single spot catching 5 flatheads within an hour.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It was, and then it shut off. It was just dead.
Yeah.
You know.
What time of day was this? Do you remember?
This was the middle of the day.
Really?
So the way I'm seeing it is with the sun. I do this here back home on our rivers and lakes. In the springtime, when that sun's hitting that shallower water, that water's going to warm up quicker than anything deep will be. And that'll always attract bait fish, and the predators will usually follow.
Absolutely,
so you can catch fish shallow in the spring. That's almost a guarantee, especially around here in Illinois.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was amazing. It was a crazy trip. It was not what we were expecting.
Yeah, and so I think later on that evening, y'all brought them in. Y'all caught and released. I'm assuming most of them.
We released all the big ones.
Right.
We kept 2. Came back to your house.
Absolutely. So I got the fryer out. Now, I'm a big crappie guy, so I had the crappie fryer going with the oil ready to go.
Come back up
325 degrees. They cleaned them right quick, and man, they were really tasty. And I'm telling you, my neighbor had catfish last week that they caught off her dock, and that water is so clear and so pristine the fish just taste so good.
Probably some of the best eating fish you could get
Oh,
out
yeah.
of that lake. It is such a beautiful, crystal clear water.
Yeah,
And it stays cold because of its depth.
yeah, yeah.
You know, in the cold, like up here we do a lot of ice fishing, so I love eating fish during the ice season because they have that firmer, just beautiful white meat,
Right.
and they just taste better.
Yeah. Well, Jake, it has been a pleasure talking to you. You're a good friend of mine. I hope you and your buds come back down this spring, or maybe even before. Do it again.
Yeah, who knows? I
Yeah.
definitely would like to again.
Yeah,
'Cause it was
come on.
great
It's a
time.
great lake. It's a great lake to fish. The crappie out of there tastes great. We know the catfish tastes great. So, again, Jake Barchard, tell me again what guide service you're with up here in Northern Illinois.
It's going to be Moon Pie Outdoors, and that's an LLC. It's we have a lot of business up here. You know, we get people out in the spring. It's big walleyes and pan fishing, bluegills, crappie, perch, whatever you want. You know, we can get you on it. So.
Yeah. Jake, great talking to you.
Jeff, it was a pleasure.
This is all for this episode of Smith Lake, Alabama Television. I hope to see you on the next episode. Y'all have